Now, we are preparing for the main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen!
This is what we have been building up to. Blackburn's own Neffati brothers, the social media superstars, take on the world's strongest man, Eddie Hall. And honestly, I still, to this minute, to this moment, cannot wrap my head around it. Let's go back to the press conference where it went off.
It went off. We had the Neffati brothers actually slapping Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall picking up the other fighter that fought earlier and threw him at them. He said, Eddie Hall was saying here that he found it hard to find small opponents to fight with.
But you know, it all started from...
No, actually, look at this.
Yeah, it dashed him. But here's the most interesting part. Radek, who got his victory tonight, unfortunately got dashed as well. What did he do? But he caught us straight for no reason.
He was just in the firing range, in the firing line, and he
said,
got it.
Whatever I see, I'm throwing, whether that's a human or not.
And let's be honest, he's lucky that he didn't punch him, because Eddie Hall, ladies and gentlemen, has the strongest punch in the world.
He took on Alex Pereira's record, and we know about Alex Pereira, a great MMA fighter, and he beat that punch. That is incredible.
And prior to that, you had Francis Ngannou, who had the hardest punch, and Eddie Hall beat them both.
He beat Francis Ngannou's punch. Can we comprehend this, guys? What is going on?
That man is absolute huge.
Now let's talk about this fight. How could it actually end up going? Because it isn't 1v1. The weight difference, the size difference is obviously crazy, but it's 2v1. Can the Neffatis find that angle, wrestling, kicking, to make that victory happen?
Wrestling? No. Not at all. No. The Five Brothers do not wrestle. Listen to me. Do not wrestle. I think they need to kick, punch, and move. They need to try it. Realistically, if I was in their corner, I'd be saying, win this by decision. What would you be saying, Fuhad?
I think that's a very intelligent thing to do. I think with the fact that Eddie is as big as he is and the punch that he carries, with two fighters in there, they can really confuse Eddie. They can throw him off track completely. It's like, you know, there's little insects everywhere. You don't know where to look. And that's exactly the game plan. They've got to keep moving, get them shots off, the kicks, the leg kicks, the punches. I think if it goes to the ground, whether it's two of them, it could be game over very well.
I think this fight is between speed and power. So, which wins? We shall now see. So,
David versus Goliath. I think it's time, Luke.
Guys, are you ready at home? I think they are. Everybody inside, are you ready for the main event of the evening?
Guys, he said, are you ready?
Let's bring them out. The Neffati brothers first. Eddie Hall. Let's go!
Prepare yourselves for the adrenaline-pumping headline of the night. The Neffati brothers versus Eddie the Beast Hall. This clash of titans needs no introduction. Tonight's battle is set under MMA rules, with 3 intense 2-minute rounds of non-stop action. In one corner, we have the unstoppable Neffati brothers.
We are not going there for fun. There's no more jokes.
With over 20 million social media followers, these Polish powerhouses first stormed the cage in Poland under Fame MMA, where they decimated anyone that stood in their way. Their unrelenting force has made waves across the globe. They even called out the Island Boys, who wanted no part of the sheer dominance these brothers bring to the cage. But tonight, they hunt a new challenge. In the opposite corner, we have the colossal Eddie the Beast Hall.
You are gonna get my full palette. A whole heap of fucking trouble.
A living legend in the world of strongman, shattering the world deadlift record, and recently doubled the power of the ferocious Francis Ngannou at the UFC Performance Institute. Eddie's no stranger to the fight game either. He squared off against Hafthor Bjornsson in a 2022 boxing showdown. He proved he's a force to be reckoned with in any arena. Tonight's epic showdown is poised to be an unforgettable spectacle.
2v1, we are talking about real challenge.
The dangers are real. 2 people just constantly mauling me, throwing shots. That's almost double the pressure.
The global anticipation for this fight has reached fever pitch.
You're slow. Nothing's gonna happen.
If I catch one of them clean on the face, right those wills.
30 seconds and the big guy is down.
2 broken bodies and 1 monster stood over them.
It's the biggest freak fight in the world.
The cage is set. Don't blink.
A man that needs very little introduction. World's strongest man, Eddie Hall, the beast. This guy's career, he has done it all. Deadlifting world records, strongest man titles, and now he's made a move into combat sports. We saw the boxing match, but this man has been training with the world champion Tom Aspinall, taking full advantage of the burgeoning MMA scene across the UK, but still, he's doing something tonight in his MMA debut that is completely unprecedented. There are very few questions left answered or unanswered in the combat sports world, and 2 versus 1 against one of the biggest, strongest men ever to live is going to be answered tonight.
I honestly cannot believe this is happening here in Blackburn. The beast, Eddie Hall, like you said there, he stands at a towering height. He honestly is a figure to be reckoned with, and the Neffati brothers will live up to that challenge tonight.
I mean, there's questions been asked, like, can you even choke this guy? Can you even get an arm around his neck? It is so thick, it's almost impossible.
I think you need to tie both the Neffati brothers' hands together, the arms, and then you will get a full look.
Look at them biceps. It's just such a presence in it. I mean, I had a little chat with him backstage. He was snacking on some rice and steak, you know, and he wanted to remind everybody he does have the hardest punch. You guys said it. If he lands it, oh my God.
All jokes aside, Alex, all jokes aside, this is a very serious fight. We're talking about the world's strongest punch against 2 guys who weigh so much more less than Eddie. This is honestly, you've got to give kudos to the guys for making this for entertainment purposes. They put it together and they have made one of the craziest fights, the craziest main events we've seen in history.
And you can see on the face of Eddie there, you know, he's serious. He's locked in. That's game mode for Eddie. And in chatting to him, you know, he said he's aware of the dangers there. You know, there's 2 guys. This could completely go another way to what he's hoping will happen tonight. But he tells everybody to sit back and enjoy the show. And this is nothing short of a show. Look at him.
He is a man monster. The beast, Eddie Hall, is in the cage for his MMA debut as well, let's not forget.
Maybe not the way everyone thought it would happen, but nonetheless, looking in great shape, been working on all his MMA skills, not just the boxing, the wrestling, everything that comes with this glorious sport. And honestly, wow, what a show!
He's stepping towards us here on this side of the cage, and honestly, I just feel the presence. What an athlete as well. Can we just...
Oh, yeah.
He's the world's strongest man. He's broken many records. I find it hard to put 35 kgs above my shoulders.
He's done things that other humans in this earth and in this history have not been able to do. This is the kind of guy he is, and he's coming in to do something which, you know, we've never really seen, 2 versus 1. You know, that's something we've not seen, but MMA after this as well from Eddie Hall. Who the hell knows what this is going to look like?
He's locked in, he's ready here in Blackburn, and now it's time to introduce the Neffati brothers.
Neffati brothers, they are the reason this event is happening here tonight. What a show that's been put on this evening. The crowd are so into this. Everybody is loving it, but what can we say about these two men who've agreed to fight the strongest man in the world?
1.5 million followers on Instagram. I don't know how many millions on TikTok. The Neffati brothers, I met them in 2021, where our social media followers, we put together a charity football match. That was the type of competition we were doing back then. When I looked at them in London when we played that charity match, never in a million years did I think that they would step up against the world's strongest man. However, let's not take away what they have done. They have fought in Fame MMA. They are combat athletes. That's one of their main things in this sort of career that they are pursuing. So it's a serious thing. And against Eddie Hall, is it just me or am I looking around? With all due respect to Blackburn, this could have been in a much bigger arena. The fans are loving it here.
Yeah, they definitely are. Everybody ready for this main event, this spectacle. And props to these two, man. They are so cool, calm, confident. They think cardio is the weapon here. They're going to try and utilise that. And who knows what they've been working on in the gym, strategy-wise. They might come out and do something crazy. They might both try and grab one leg and pull him apart. Who knows what's going to happen?
It's honestly a lot more closer than what people may think. You know, just saying that Eddie, again, all respect to Eddie, the strongest man in the world. When you have two guys who are trained athletes, who are trained in this sport, it's bound to be hard.
I cannot wait for this one. They've been training. I mean, good respect on them both. What a contest. It takes three to tango in this case. And the world is watching, I'm sure. And this is... No, I mean, what is going to happen here? Looking focused, looking ready. We are just about to get our main event underway here at the World Freak Fight League #1. And what a way to get us started.
Eddie, come on. Come on, guys.
I'm sorry, just letting you on.
Eddie, guys, you know the rules is in my comments. If I say stop, is stop. You can touch the gloves if you want. Yeah, if you touch the gloves you want. Fight clean, go back to the corner and wait for my signal start. All right? Go back. Go back.
Well, here we go, the main event of the first edition of the World Freak Fight League. Alex, this is what we have been waiting for all night.
This is all a bit surreal, really. I'm not going to lie. I'm sat here like, okay, this is happening. The Neffati brothers, red corner with the green shorts. Eddie Hall in the black with the red trim in the blue corner right here. Everybody.
Here we go.
Eddie, are you ready?
Come on.
Fighters ready? Fight!
Clapping them in, let's go, already circling. Look at this, I talked about the strategy. They're both coming from a very wide angle. Eddie calling them on.
They're both egging each other on here. This is very, very interesting. Ultimately, it was like a football formation. They swapped in wings before they went on to Eddie.
And you know, Eddie's taking this seriously. I like that he's putting his back to the fence. It means they can't get behind him. This is an important part of the strategy. And we have got rounds here, you know, 2-minute rounds, I believe.
2-minute rounds, 3 rounds of MMA action, and you can feel the tension. No shot has been thrown yet. We are 30 seconds in.
It's that first explosion, that first use of strength. Will we see it? When will we see it? And they've got to draw it out of him because cardio is going to be their weapon.
Come on.
The referee, there's 2 referees in the cage here again. The referee's telling more action is what the fans are also wanting. But there is more to this fight. You've got to think about what you do from either side.
I mean, get some timed leg kicks off. What a spectacle. I mean, Eddie is lunging towards them, and they're being very wise and cautious about the way that they're going to attack, but they have to pull the trigger. They've brought everyone here.
The shots have been thrown by Eddie Hall so far, and the fighters have been moving off. I wonder if the referee's going to stop it and have a word with them to actually throw a bit more shots.
Well, you got to encourage action. Timidity is against the rules. Usually,
first shot
leg kick. It didn't even move him. I mean, that leg kick was nothing. Look, they're talking now. A little bit of gamesmanship, a little bit of strategy. Eddie came here for a fight. He's been training, letting 5-6 people fight him at once, and now he's got the 2 men in here.
Eddie's keeping composure and professional because he can't run after one, because then his back is exposed. And a big kick again from the twin.
Trying to land that leg kick. They did say it would be over in 30 seconds. Obviously, a different strategy has played out here. 10-second clapper for this first round, which has been very uneventful.
Yeah, all we've seen so far is 2 leg kicks really from the Neffati, and a whole lot more talking. And that was round number 1 ended. Eddie Hall, unimpressed.
You know, Eddie definitely came here for a fight to put on a show for his fans. That first round, very, very... what is going on here?
Like, I open up the crowd, but I'm very confused.
Of course, we have to see something. This, of course, is a MMA fight. There's an outside leg kick, and that barely shook Eddie Hall, and he was stepping into it as well. Of course, they're running away as they're striking, so you're not going to sit down and get the same kind of power. And it looks like they're trying to bait Eddie to come forward, you know. Eddie's obviously got this strategy. He wants to put his back on the fence, wait for them to come to him. And almost the Neffati brothers feel like they want Eddie to come to them as they cat and mouse, and no one's given up here.
Yeah, it was very interesting. As soon as the round finished, Eddie made a big statement, which I can't say on air, unfortunately. But he was very impressed by the amount of action that was going on. But it doesn't matter, because we are going into round number 2.
Yeah, and you know, from Eddie's side, it's going to be hard for him to chase down one of these guys. I mean, that really doesn't seem like a strategy that could work.
No, because they would take the back, and that's why it makes sense for the Neffatis. What are they trying to do? You would think if they were going to go for the legs, there would be more leg kicks. We've only seen 2 thus far.
Well, they're just terrified of getting slapped by the giant, by the beast that's in there, you know? But I'm sure they're going to have a talk about the strategy right now. Eddie, of course, technically he lost that round. I mean, he didn't do anything, and nor did they, but they did land 2 strikes.
Yeah, exactly that. So he threw a few, but they missed. And here we go, round number 2 between the Neffati brothers and Eddie Hall.
Yeah, Eddie just waiting for his moment here. You know, he doesn't have much choice. It'll be quite hard, like I said, to track down one of these guys, but if he can get one of them to the ground, can you imagine what would happen?
Eddie does feel like a ticking time bomb right now when that shot is let off. I wonder if he even could catch them when they... Oh, it goes... Oh! Big shot that's missed. And Eddie Hall has changed his game plan and he's chased after one of them.
Yeah, I mean, kind of close on that right hand as well. You saw the speed from the big man, but Eddie keeps calling him on, and the Fatties are calling him on.
Someone's got to throw first.
Eddie checking his watch as the crowd get a little restless here.
The crowd are getting a bit annoyed and frustrated as the main event so far has been minimal of action, and another leg kick lands.
I think that one didn't look like it landed, that one. But
just to maybe even look at it like this, are the Neffati brothers going for a complete points victory? But by doing absolutely nothing.
I don't think it's their intention to have put on such a show and for this to be happening. But once you're in there, it's obviously very different. You know, you don't want to get knocked out. You don't want to lose. And the presence of Eddie Hall is being felt by these 2 men. A word is coming from the ref right now, because as Eddie is trying to engage, they are retreating, so perhaps that's why the ref is instructing them.
Is that a deductible points offence?
I mean, it can be, you know, timidity is kind of part of the rule set. You know, if you show timidity, you have to fight. You have to be prepared to fight, and nothing action-wise is happening. Back in Japan, you would get a yellow card and you'd lose some money, but we don't do that these days.
Well, it might be needed for this fight. Eddie Hall runs after one, but then he has to watch his back.
Eddie's ready.
Complicated fight for Eddie Hall.
Eddie is ready to fight someone. He just can't fight anyone right now. Trying to use his peripheral vision.
He's looking down at the face, but he can't catch them either. There's a lack of speed there. Obviously, with the amount that he weighs and the amount that the Neffatis weighs, he's never going to catch him.
Probably not. You know, he's trying some tactics in there. It's quite tough. That's a check right there as well. That's pretty sneaky, that check from Eddie. Picked up that lead leg again. And this has been
surely the Neffati's got to double down from that kick. They've got 2 humans in there. We need to see more action.
You know, I would like to see some coordinated attacks at the same time. You know, but it's not always easy. The ref is having to run now, and Eddie doing whatever he can to try and track one of these guys down. And that is the end of the 2nd round right there.
Massive boos here at King George's Hall, the home city of the Neffati brothers. And this is a very, very, very confusing fight.
I mean, like, listen, you say this fight is going to happen on paper. Look at him sprint away. Eddie's trying to do what he can. You know, but Neffati's there obviously have time to turn and run in a forward direction. Eddie's trying to be careful of his back there, but you know, of all the ways this fight could have played out, I guess it's certainly a possibility. He could send 5 men in there. They might have the same attitude when trying to fight Eddie Hall.
When you are against the world's strongest man, it's a completely different story. And this is what it's feeling like right now. There is 1 more round left, and both referees are having words with each fighter. They're not impressed. The referees want to see more action, just as everyone here in Blackburn does too.
A double single, how about that? 2 singles at the same time. A lot of support for the Neffati brothers here from all the fans cage side, but yet to really find a strategy that works for them, you know?
Well, here we go, third and final round here at the King George's Hall, which will end the first edition of the World Freak Fight League. Our main event here, the Neffati brothers taking on Eddie Hall. 2 rounds has not really lived up to the excitement, but it could be a very well executed. You know, sometimes you can't just, please the fans. You got to win, and is that what Neffatis are doing?
It's true. I mean, look, Eddie wants to fight, and you know, unfortunately he doesn't seem to be able to chase down and catch these guys. You know, so if the Neffatis want to score points and get a show, they have to do this, but they are sticking to a game plan. You know, we've said this before. You've put these guys in here to fight this big man. There's only really one safe way to do that, and that's a hit-and-run approach. They don't want to enter the pocket. They don't want to brawl. And no hands have been thrown yet, really, by either man.
No punch has been landed, actually, in this fight. There has been kicks, but I don't think there has been a single punch landed. Thrown, but not landed.
Let's see if, in the closing seconds, someone takes a chance. Eddie is clearly super frustrated. I mean, I think he signed up for a war, for a fight. And the Neffatis are trying to say the same thing. And now Eddie's standing in the middle.
They're not taking advantage of that either. Eddie backs up again. Eddie Hall is unimpressed. He's really, really frustrated. But I'm thinking, if you're Eddie Hall, you may as well go for it now then. Like, Jay,
he almost had one of them there. I mean, maybe turning it into a takedown might work for him.
I think you just got to chase him as much as you can.
At this point, yeah, I mean, less than a minute left in this third and final round. Oh! The speed that Eddie ran across the cage. There we go. They got the single leg. Trying to fight. Picking one guy up. Slams him down. Eddie Hall. The right hand land for Eddie Hall. He's knocked him out. One shot is all it took.
One shot has knocked one of the Neffati brothers out cold. And Eddie Hall is victorious in a fight that looked like it wasn't going anyway. In a fight that looked completely dead in the water. In the final seconds, the world's strongest man knocks out one of the twins when we were about to get action. And that's what happens when you step in with the world's strongest man.
He said he was going to do it. He said one punch was all he needed. Like a flash of lightning, that straight right came out down the middle and cleaned the clock of the Neffati brothers there. Not sure. He's regained consciousness here cage side, but Eddie Hall got what he wanted. A chance to show off the power, and he fired that straight right hand. Accurate and clean. We're going to see on the highlights here, most likely, that final shot landed. And, you know, I believe the fight may continue here. I don't know if it's been officially completely waved off. Obviously, the doctors are in right now as well. And here we go on the replay. They're lifting up on the pile driver. Now they're closing the distance. There's the right hand as he comes in. And up he gets. He's all right. He's back on his feet. The crowd go wild. The single leg back fist. This is the slam. And as he gets up, bam! Right hand sends him to dreamland.
However,
beautiful
the fight
shot.
is not over.
Yes, I am aware the fight is not over. But there's not much time left. 30 seconds, I think, or so, for this lone Neffati brother to go up against Eddie Hall.
Can a single Neffati redeem the brothers' pride here? What a shot from Eddie Hall.
I mean,
absolutely incredible.
So brave for them to go for it in the closing moments of the round. That's the fight they wanted. They went for the strategy, and Eddie showed that, you know, size and strength, it does matter.
But here we go.
Final instructions from the referee. We're going to clap it back in. I don't know if anybody realised that the fight is going to continue here. Here we go, about 30 seconds on the clock.
30 seconds for a lone Neffati to survive.
If he knocks him out now, it's going to be crazy. And we're starting.
Here he comes out.
1v1 now is completely different.
Eddie pushing the pace, trying to close the distance, stalking down his man. Oh, the jab sends him down. Is Eddie going to get on top? He's better get on his bicycle.
This is incredible. I've seen nothing like this before.
David Mascalano, Eddie's on top!
Be all over.
Oh, he needs to move. He cannot stay here.
Oh, big
The
shot.
ground and pound from Eddie. Oh, short shot, and he's calling it up. He gets the win. 2 knockouts for Eddie Hall. 1 beautiful knockout on the feet, 1 TKO on the ground, and a backflip from the Neffati brothers. Look at this. And he gives him a hug. You know, I think we all got what we wanted. It just took us a while to get there. I mean, come on now.
What an event this is. That was absolutely crazy. The last Neffati brother said, you know what? I'm still coming for you, Eddie. I'm still coming for you.
Nice finish by Eddie here. Good control, almost Brock Lesnar-like. You know, doesn't use a lot of distance to generate power. And let's face it, he didn't need a lot of power in that position. You know, that Neffati brother, he tried. I'm not sure if that was Jamel or Jamil. It's hard to tell, I'm not going to lie. But great work from both men. And, you know...
Teraz, ale później też. Ten podziękował.
The fight is all over. This bout ends in the final round. The referee calls this contest at 1 minute 58 seconds. Double KO victory for the one and only world's strongest man, Eddie Hall. Let's make some noise up in here, boys and girls. I'm joined by the winner, Eddie Hall. Eddie, it was an interesting first 2 rounds. You look very frustrated, but you got the win at the end. Talk me through your victory here tonight.
Yeah, very frustrating for me. I think their tactics was to try and wear me down, which I wasn't falling for. Just plant my feet, wait for one of them to come, and go for it, but none of them came, so I had to make it happen.
After that first KO of one of the brothers, what was your thought process? Because to be honest, that was one of the craziest knockouts we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of training, a lot of scenarios of 2-on-1. That was one of them, picking him up and sort of throwing him down, and that leaves the other one wide open. And at the end of the day, they're brothers, and if you hurt one, the other one's going to come running. So I knew I couldn't waste time on him. I had to keep my eyes open and aware there was another person coming at me.
How much respect have you gained for these two? Obviously stepping up against you. A man was the world's strongest man, and they really did try and put on our show here tonight in Blackburn.
Massive respect. Even though it's 2-on-1, I think them both together, I still outweigh them by like 25, 30 kilos. So nothing but respect from me. They've got big bollocks.
And what's next for you, Eddie? Is it going to be back here in the MMA cage? Will Freak Fight League be put on the craziest fights? What you want next?
Well, I've been training MMA very hard for big opponents. This contract came in my lap 5 weeks ago, so I've literally had 5 weeks to prep for a 2v1, but my heart still lies with a 1v1. There's lots of talks, lots of opponents, but...
Any names? Any names out there?
Listen, man, I don't want to say names right now.
Thought in MMA?
He wouldn't come to MMA, he's such a pussy.
Well, there you go. That might be a call out in itself.
Maybe. I think someone like Mariusz Podnowski. Mariusz Podnowski's got 20 years experience in the game. He's still a big guy, still very strong, and he is a hard bastard. Like, there's no denying it, Mariusz Podnowski's very hard. But I think the fans want to see a world's strongest man versus a world's strongest man. So,
any message?
So there we go. If someone could bring the right deal to the table, I know Mariusz is game. Mariusz is always in my inbox sending me fighting emojis, so maybe this is it.
Well, there you go, your winner here tonight, Eddie Hall! Let's bring in the Neffati brothers, guys. What, guys, make some noise, please. Let's make some noise. What a spectacle. What a spectacle you put on in your hometown of Blackburn. It's been insane. The card was crazy from top to bottom. You guys must be proud of what you put on here tonight.
Well, obviously, hello everyone. Thank you for coming. This is what we want to bring to this town like 5 times a year. So I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, obviously we wanted to run around him so he could get tired and smash his legs, obviously, because he's too big to do anything around him, right? But obviously he got stuck next to the cage, so what could we do? Obviously we could win the fight with those couple of kicks because we had the points, but obviously those people came here to enjoy the show, so we were like, what are we doing on the last round? And we were like, okay, let's just do it. Let's just get it down.
I think a lot of the fans would want to know, with all due respect, how did it feel like being in there with such a big opponent and obviously feeling the punches as well? This guy is really an MMA fighter now, a boxer now as well.
Bro, it had to be really, really good because I can't remember shit.
Well, listen, this has been an incredible event. What is next for you guys? Surely it's got to be another tag team match.
Well, yeah, we would like to show our skills with someone of our size. With this giant, you can't do anything, to be honest. And that's why I was shouting to one drunk guy, like, come and do it yourself, you know. But then when he got knocked out, I was like, I need to, you know, have some revenge in here. That's why I went forward and no more running. That's it.
Well, guys, can we please put your hands together for the guys behind the show, the Neffati brothers! And thank you to Blackburn for coming out to King George's Hall for the first edition of the World Freak Fight League.
What an event, what a spectacle. So many crazy matchups, crazy rules, and crazy finishes. And honestly, for 2 rounds there, you know, there was some feeling out, but it ended phenomenally in the main event. The Neffati brothers going up against Eddie Hall. Eddie sleeps one of them. It's 1v1 and they go toe-to-toe. It ends in a double knockout for Eddie Hall, who wants to make a move to MMA. I love it. He's called out Mariusz Pudzianowski as a former KSW champion, also a former World's Strongest Man. So World's Strongest Man versus World's Strongest Man at super heavyweight MMA. You gotta love it. Someone better hand out a contract for that because I would love to see it. But look at the Neffati brothers. What an event they put on. Congratulations to them. The world watched this one. And, you know, they went for it in the final moments and really brought the house down with that show. And look at them, in there still walking around having a good time after what they both endured. Unbelievable. Words can't describe the atmosphere inside here tonight in Blackburn, and hopefully there'll be many more on the way. But let's throw it back to our announcers cage side to send us out.
Wow, wow, wow. W-O-W.
That was absolutely insane. Well, let's be honest, the first 2 rounds was a little bit, it put everyone off a little bit.
Yeah, the first 2 rounds, I was booing. I was like, boo!
He was ringside, he was giving instructions to both fights.
But look at this, Eddie was saying, come on, you boys, come for me. They kept kicking him and running, and it wasn't until the 3rd round
and here
when they actually went for him.
Knockout.
And the powerbomb!
This is the knockout here. Eddie sees it.
Boom!
What a strike!
Oh.
I am absolutely gobsmacked.
Oh.
The way, let's not forget, hold on a minute. The knockout itself was crazy, but then the drop before that was insane. And then the lone Neffati brother tried to hold his own. Unfortunately, it was a ground and pound finish. Wow.
A 1v1. Obviously, it was a 2v1, but then it finished in a 1v1 with the victorious man being himself, World's Strongest Man, Eddie Hall.
I think genuinely, if we look back at the fight, the first 2 rounds, were they boring? Yes. But was the 3rd round as live to make up for the whole thing? Absolutely.
Made up for the whole thing completely. And we've got everybody around us now. How excited were you guys for that?
Very excited.
Yeah, was you excited?
Oh, well, he had to think about it.
I'm just throwing people in the camera. I know people can get a bit shy. But Fuhad, it's been an amazing night, hasn't it?
It's been an amazing edition of the first debut World Freak Fight League. It's been insane from the press conferences to here at the final, the prelims, the pay-per-view card. Honestly, it was freaky. It was freaky.
Can I say to you what the highlight has been for tonight for me?
Go ahead.
It's being on the stage with you, my bro.
That's my guy there. That's my guy. We will be back for another edition for the World Freak Fight League 2. We're going to be here, right?
Yeah, we're going to
run this show again. Of course we are.
Obviously, it depends if you want us back. People in the crowd, do you want us back?
No, wait. Yes. I said, do you guys want us back here?
Yeah!
We're going to be back for another edition. delicious.
Before that, though, we're going to run to some highlights of the night. I just want to say thank you to World Freak Fight League. It has been absolutely amazing. Are you ready to run this, VT?
Let's do it.
Run that.
Get down in the car, one time give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you drop.